about, creating an identity as a team. Everybody wants to be special. Everybody wants to be extraordinary. Everybody wants to win. I mean, you could ask any team in the country, do you want to be number one? And everybody would raise their hand. But are you willing to do all the things you need to do to accomplish that? Get out of your comfort zone, be accountable, have the discipline to do things day in and day out, play in and play out. That will make you be able to accomplish and do things at a high level. And this would be true no matter what you do. And at this point, we don't have a lot of practice left, but we have a lot of opportunity to get a lot of mental practice, which will enhance your preparation in terms of going out there, being able to execute, have confidence, not make mental errors, and everybody be accountable to each other and create great team chemistry, which will be a real starting point of trying to create the kind of identity that would like to create. So every team that you play creates lots of challenges in terms of the way you technically have to prepare, and they all have players who can make plays. So it's up to us to control what we do in terms of how we play and the focus that we have in terms of how we want to go out and execute together as a group.
Hey, Coach. What kind of progress have you seen from Ty Simpson from the spring until now leading up to game?
Ty has, done a really good job. I think, all the quarterbacks have made significant improvement. I think Ty has made improvement. I think, one of the hardest things to not get involved with is to be outcome oriented and, to show your emotions when, things don't go exactly like you'd want them to. And, that's one of the things that I think has helped all of our quarterbacks, especially Ty, improve on. Mistakes are opportunities to learn, get better, grow, and how it affects his execution in a really positive way.
How has Danny Lewis Jr. looked at tight end, and do you see him more as a flex out type tight end or more of a traditional Y type?
He's probably more of a traditional Y type, although, we've got, 4 or 5 kind of, ability to contribute in their own way to what we can do, run or pass. So, but Danny is more the traditional inline guy, but they all play both positions, and he'll have some opportunity to do that as well.
In what ways have you seen leadership from Deontay Lawson through this fall camp?
I think, Deontay's done a really, really good job. He's kind of taken over the signal caller duties for which I think is, a huge responsibility, but yet something that is probably the most important thing, especially for the front seven in terms of alignment, adjustment, calls that need to get made, whether you're pressuring and getting lined up the right way to play, whether it's to or away from the back. And a lot of guys, they're a little apprehensive about taking on that responsibility, and he's very confident in it. He's done a great job of it. He's played really well, set a great example in terms of how he practices, how he plays, how he communicates. And I think that's been, a significant improvement in how we played up front on defense. And it'll be important that we can continue that throughout the season.
What effect does the team's leadership council have on building that team identity?
It's probably too early to tell. I like, as I've said in here before, some of the guys on the team in terms of being leaders, impacting other players, sort of trying to get people to adhere to the standard of how we'd like to do things, whether it's practice, meetings, whatever. But, that's a huge responsibility, and not everybody's up for it, but I like some of the guys that we have this year that are trying to do it, and they've done a pretty good job of it. But you never know what the impact of all these things are until you start playing games. And even when you start playing games, you don't know how it's going to sustain itself throughout the season. So these kind of questions are something that are better answered, at the end of the year, not at the beginning.
Coach, I want to ask about Malachi Moore. Adversity throughout his time here, but do you see him as one of the leaders going into this year on the defensive side?
Yeah, he's been really good. He's smart, bright, he's got a lot of experience, can play multiple positions. Is a really good communicator, which is one of the things that we've been harping on with the guys in the back end, because that's just like the offensive line. Everybody's got to be on the same page on how we're covering people, what we're doing, how we're adjusting. So communication is really important. Confidence to communicate is important, and Malachi is probably the best guy on the team that we have to do that right now, but we need to get more guys to be able to communicate. But he's done a really, really good job in multiple positions.
I know we've asked you earlier this year about the speakers that you brought in to talk to the players, but I noticed that you sat front row each time the speaker was in to talk to the team. What did you learn specifically from everybody that came in to speak?
I learned something from everybody. I think we had a lot of really, really good speakers, and I think mostly everybody is trying to get people to understand how they can elevate themselves, elevate their game, elevate whatever it is they want to accomplish and what they want to do, but not really be depending on somebody else to motivate you to do it. We all get affected by external factors and some things that we can't control. So is that your motivation? Does it come from some place outside of you? Or is it just because I want to be the best at what I do and I'm willing to work and invest the time to be able to be the best version of myself? Does that come from within me? Am I driven to do that? I think that's the message I hope that, every player on the team actually, can hear, because, we always, how many times somebody says something bad about you and all of a sudden you're motivated? Well, that's an external factor. You get behind in a game and you're motivated. Well, that's an external factor. The scoreboard, we're winning in the game and you let down. That's an external factor. So we're all affected by those things, but the key to the drill is to not be affected by any of that stuff. The guy you're playing against, I'm playing against All-American this week, so I'm really going to be jacked up to play the best I can play and play a great game. And I'm going to say to the guy, why didn't you play that way last week? If you're capable of being that good, why aren't you that good all the time? So that's kind of what I get out of what all the great people who have accomplished great things, they've all done it because of that, not because of some external factor that gets them to want to do it.
Two more, we'll go to Joe.
Coach, eliminating penalties has been a significant focus for your defense so far in the offseason. Going into the game on Saturday, do you feel like you've made significant progress in those areas?
Well, eliminating penalties has been something for our entire team. We got way too many penalties last year. We got lots of penalties on the line of scrimmage. We got a lot of penalties on offense on the line of scrimmage, a lot of pre-snap penalties, which those are, sort of lack of discipline things. So we've tried to do things in practice to get guys to play with more discipline, to watch the ball, not jump off sides, not have illegal formations, have better communication with the quarterback so we don't have false starts. And I think we made some progress in those areas. Every day we track every penalty. And if anybody got more than one penalty, their whole group is affected in some way. And I point out the fact that this guy got more than one penalty today. And so we'll see if it works, but heaven knows that's something that we have paid great attention to. And sometimes you wonder, if you pay so much attention to something, is that really helping it or hurting it? I don't know. If you tell somebody they're not very tough enough, then they start thinking they're not very tough. So hopefully we're not telling anybody that, and we're telling everybody they can be disciplined enough to not get penalties.
Thank you. Hello, Coach. Nice to see you again. Could you say, or could you talk a little about the values we learn in football we apply in ordinary life day by day? Thanks so much. Gracias.
Yeah, well, I think everything I've talked about here today is something that can help you be successful in life. I mean, you have goals and aspirations for what you want to accomplish and do. And then you got to have an awareness of what does it take to do that? What does it entail for you to be able to accomplish these things? So that's what I call the process, definition of what you have to do to accomplish the goals that you have. And are you willing to do it? Are you willing to do those things? Do you have the discipline to execute it every day? So that would be true if in anything that you chose to do. And then there's work ethic, perseverance, ability to overcome adversity, pride in performance. You know, all these things are common things that we talk about in athletics, but it's the same thing if you wanted to be the president of the company but again, what motivates you to do that? Is it coming from within you, or did somebody tell you couldn't do it, so now all of a sudden you're motivated to do it? So it's basically who you are. And I think everybody wants to do well. Everybody would like to be successful. Everybody's not willing to do the things you need to do to be successful. You know, we had one speaker come here and showed the biggest tiger I've ever seen. Took up the whole screen. And he said, everybody wants to be the beast, but everybody don't want to do what the beast do. So if you want to be the beast, you got to do what the beast do. All right, thanks.